remember that in the beginning the baby was born. And when he looked into the face of the mother Mary, the cross was there. And when he looked into the face of the father Joseph, the cross was there too. Mary and Joseph gave the baby everything the baby needed to grow. And he did. And as Jesus grew, he became a 12-year-old boy. And they traveled to Jerusalem for one of the high holy days. On the way back, Mary and Joseph couldn't find Jesus in the crowd. So they rushed back to Jerusalem. They searched for him high and low. And finally they found him in the temple, speaking with the rabbis. And they said, "Why did you do this?" And Jesus said something strange. "Did you not know that I would be in my Father's house?" Mary and Joseph did not understand, but they did not forget. Jesus continued to grow, and he grew and grew until he was about 30 years old, when he went down to the river Jordan to be baptized by his cousin John. Jesus went down into the dark and the chaos of the water, and when he came up, a dove came down from heaven, and people say they heard the voice of God saying, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased." Jesus crossed the river Jordan and went into the desert. He spent 40 days and 40 nights in the desert. And one day a voice came to him and said, "Why don't you turn these stones into bread?" But Jesus said, "We cannot live on bread alone." And then it was as if he were on top of the temple in Jerusalem. And the voice said, "Throw yourself down. He will command his angels so that your foot will not even strike a stone." But Jesus said, "We should not test God." And then the voice, a final time, said, "Look at all these kingdoms of the world. Worship me, and I will make you ruler of them all." But Jesus said, "No, I am to be a king, but not that kind of king." Jesus crossed back out of the desert, crossed the river Jordan to begin his work. But what was his work? Jesus' work was to come close to people, especially people no one else wanted to come close to. He had come close to a blind man, so close that he touched the man's eyes. When Jesus came close to people, they changed. They became well. Jesus also told parables. Finally, he knew that he had to become a parable. Jesus entered Jerusalem for the last time. Now remember that we are in the time of the color purple, a serious and somber color, but also the color of kings. Now Jesus entered Jerusalem for the last time. It was a time of Passover, a time when the people of God came to remember how God brought them through the water to freedom. The city was full of people from many different lands. This year, as Jesus traveled to Jerusalem, the people hoped that he would be their king. When they heard Jesus was near Jerusalem, they ran to him. They shouted, "Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." They put their cloaks and palm branches down on the road to prepare the way for Jesus, shouting, "Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest." They thought that Jesus was coming to be a king. But they weren't paying attention. He wasn't riding on a white horse when he came into the city. He wasn't being carried by soldiers. He was riding on a donkey, and it wasn't even his. He had borrowed it. Still, that Sunday, when Jesus came into Jerusalem, the people were waving palm branches, shouting, "Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." Palm branches, a sign of kings. Hosanna, Hosanna, as he came. I wonder how Jesus felt when the crowd wanted him to be their king. I wonder who the people that shouted, "Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord," were. I wonder what it would be like to live in Jesus' kingdom. Let's sing now with Miss Leslie about when Jesus came to Jerusalem.
When Jesus came to Jerusalem. When Jesus came to Jerusalem, the children stood along the way, waving palm branches, for their Lord and King. Sing Hosanna, to the Lord and King. When Jesus came to Jerusalem, the children stood along the way, making room for him, for their Lord and King. Sing Hosanna, to the Lord and King.
This week, begin with the seed cross in your Lenten bag study. Watching the growth of a flower seed reminds us of the miracle of hope and transformation that is coming in the promise of Easter. The seeds change. They decay as they transform into new life. A new life that we can't really imagine when we planted. Read the parable of the mustard seed, Matthew 13, verses 31 and 32, and the parable of the leavened bread, Matthew chapter 13, verse 33, and talk about change. What things can you think of that change? Plant your seed cross and watch it transform.